Mic check.
This video's purpose is to enlighten the viewers on the effects of poverty and inequality through the eyes of different individuals from different cultural perspectives.
In order to raise awareness to these issues in today's society, our project aim is to spread awareness to these issues through these interviews that remain same throughout the video.
To prevent bias and give different cultural views presented through all the opinions given.
And in the end, that you may be aware of these issues and the possible solutions to the following.
I believe that poverty is caused by the hierarchy of employers being paid a lot more than the working class employees.
The history that Russia had before with communism, that affected like a lot of people's income and caused a lot of people to go homeless.
In India, over 200 million people are under the poverty line and are considered to be in poverty. And it's a very widespread issue in the country and is virtually ever growing. These statistics are imbued by a phenomenon known as the poverty trap. The poverty trap is a spiraling mechanism which forces people to remain poor. It is so binding in itself that it does not allow the poor people to escape it. The poverty trap generally happens in developing and underdeveloped countries.
In my opinion, I feel like poverty is caused by a lot of inequalities within the society. I feel like this is due to certain ideologies that are brought forth by certain cultures in the society. For example, in my country, Kenya, when the British came for colonization, they brought forth with them many principles to divide and rule. This then brought forth many negative tribal stereotypes, which then became embedded in our beliefs.
Poverty is linked with many negative conditions such as substandard housing, homelessness, not getting the proper nutrition and foods, not having access to healthcare, and not having the proper childhood and not being raised properly.
Poverty caused by in the Philippines are high levels of population growth, high levels of inequality, and recurrent shock and exposure to risks such as economic crisis.
So I think there's a high number of birth rates and parents cannot afford to pay for high education for all their children, and therefore because not everyone can get the same amount of education and can get that kind of high level of education, not everyone can be qualified for jobs that can be high paying.
I feel like poverty has a lot to do with the area you're from. This is because certain areas of the world have less access to education or resources, and this may cause these areas to be more into poverty.
I definitely think that in some areas of the world there is still kind of racial discrimination, and there's also an inequality in social class.
Poverty and inequality is an issue that has been briefed before, but in India it is a very drastic problem that includes petty things such as gender and caste. In today's society, poverty and inequality affects virtually every aspect in a person's life. This includes financial to social statuses, which can determine the life chances and ability a person is given.
Poverty negatively affects us all the time, and it's an effect that we've been accustomed to by our media. Poverty is something that we should be focusing on tackling, as some people are struggling in many third world countries to provide for their families.
These issues are indeed a very major problem, as let's say inequality between the two sexes, male and female. Research says, and people have stated, that females get paid less than males in the workplace, but that's debatable. There's also racially profiling in work. So let's say a person of African origin is treated worse and gets paid less than someone from let's say a Caucasian origin from Europe or from America.
I believe that these issues are a very major problem in today's society, as everyone should have an equal chance at providing food and a place to stay, and that some people shouldn't be treated a lot more unequally than others.
Poverty in the Philippines is a major issue, with having the highest rates of economic and social inequality in Southeast Asia. This leads to high amounts of homelessness and starving children in the street.
I don't think so. I don't think culture has anything to do with inequality, because I think inequality kind of roots from deeper issues than the culture, and plus every place has a different culture, so you can't really say that inequality is caused by any ideology that a specific culture reinforces.
In my opinion, poverty also has a lot to do with ideologies that are brought forth by culture. These ideologies may cause certain individuals to be treated unequally, and this may be due to their gender, race, religion, or even social class.
Yes, with racism and the people of Russia who especially were older, they would still have their prejudiced views on the other races, which enforces inequality to the other minorities in the country.
Caste-based segregation is a very apparent social factor that positively contributes to poverty and inequality in India. The country does not include the Dalits or the untouchables in normal societal behaviors, and the politicians of the country find it more convenient to announce massive reductions in poverty by simply excluding them from the census or from the Indian census. It is easy to pretend they do not exist at all, according to politicians.
Yes, I do feel that in certain regions of the world, where certain religions are more relevant than others, people with these religions are favored more. Thus, religion may cause certain inequalities in that area. However, in my nation, Kenya, I do not feel that there are many inequalities faced due to religion.
I don't think religion can cause inequality because I think religion wants equality for everyone.
This one's easy. There's a lot of different ways. It's just that there needs to be initiative taken by the world, not just by individual countries. The UN should make it a must for governments to support people below the poverty line and ensure that most of the population is not under the poverty line. Should make it a goal to keep striving forward, provide welfare.
Yo, MF Doom, Mr. Fantastic, Villain. What up? Ain't nothing. What's the word? It's cracking, boy. Same old shit, man. Rap snitches, man.
In conclusion, through the views and opinions presented, the prominence of poverty and inequality are consistent amongst different nations, with different nations having different yet similar reasons as why poverty and inequality persists. Some opinions suggest that it is influenced by beliefs and ideologies, while some do not. Regardless of the perspective, it indeed is true that poverty and inequality persist through numerous cultures due to different beliefs, ethnicity, socioeconomic hierarchy, religion, and many more. Hence, we should find ourselves to do our part to raise awareness to the negative effects of poverty and inequality, and share and find possible solutions to fight it, to make society and our world a better place. Thank you for watching.